Wee. Fuck. Oh god. My my chair isn't as spinny as I thought it would. It still rotates. Still does a little spin, but unfortunately, it's not as great as I thought. These intros are getting worse and worse by the moment. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Peter Vizzo, and welcome to my Peter Jab Project channel. Another episode of Project EOE. I'm continuing to write it. Writing takes a while, so a lot of these are just me talking about writing it. Next up, we're going to do an escape room scene. I always thought escape rooms were fun. I remember seeing this one movie where it was like this one evil criminal organization was working on a escape room to intentionally kill people. And it was terrible. Like, I work at a movie theater, and you see a lot of movies come and go, and you see which ones that like actually do well because they'll stay around, and which ones people are like, we don't want these. And a lot of times in the contract to get those movies, they have to stay in the theater for at least 2 weeks. And as soon as those 2 weeks are up, they're gone. They're gone. We're doing an escape room scene, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it amazing, but also having it be something that the directors and scenic designers can have fun with. One thing that I notice in my writing is sometimes I'll be really intent on having something grand happen, and I'll write it into the script to be grand. But sometimes that can leave a little wiggle room for the people who are going to direct the show and design the show if they ever do the show. Because if this gets big, I don't want every show to look the same, because when every show looks the same, that kind of defeats the purpose of theater in itself. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of having a busy week right now. Had a lot on my mind, and so this one might be a little shorter. But I want to run through some things that are happening. I remember Wednesday for a class assignment. I'm in this class where we have to do a bunch of interactive experiences in theater spaces, and that includes a lot of like public interactions. And you'll see this a lot with people who like do like little games or like man on the street kind of stuff. So my idea was, okay, let's try to teach people how to play ukulele in 10 minutes or less, and just teach them how to play and make a little song with them. And I hated that. Don't get me wrong, if you ever want to learn ukulele, just like come up to me and be like, hey yo, can I learn how to play ukulele? And if I have it on me, I'll let you play on mine. And I will even suggest some nice cheap ukuleles that I've used to start out with before getting some more high class, expensive ones that I'm really proud of owning. But one thing that I think kind of threw me off was the idea that I have to go up to people and say, hey, do you want to be part of this thing that you didn't ask to be a part of? And that to me is sometimes hard, and that's something that I realize happens a lot in public performance. For example, I don't feel that way when I do a theater show or anything where you have to really buy a ticket, you know? Because then you consent to being part of this and engaging with it and interacting with it. Whereas what threw me off when I had my ukulele and I had to sign up, I think that people thought that I was some kind of a bum, and without reading the sign assumed that it was a sign saying something along the lines of need money, God bless, and here I am in clean clothes with no real dirt on them and a shiny ukulele. But I think what made it more difficult was the fact that I just don't have that much people skills. I try to, I really do, and I feel like it happens naturally Whereas this, for some reason, just feels like a very unnatural experience. So I actually had a lot of panic. I actually had a lot of anxiety. And it just kind of like really overcame me. And it was hard. On a different note, there's this show coming out called Everybody with a bunch of randomized roles. And it's the first time I have to be shirtless on stage, which is something that I have stated before that I have a lot of anxiety about. But yesterday was our last rehearsal, and I drew the randomized role where I have to strip down to just my underwear, and it was an experience. Everyone was super supportive. Like, don't get me wrong on that. It never felt like I was pressured to do that, and they always said like, hey, if there is at all, like, even if it's like a different day, and you're like, oh, can I at least like keep my pants on, or something like that, or have a tank top on underneath, that's totally okay. So everyone was super supportive in this. Shout out to Rachel Finley for creating that kind of environment, and all the cast and crew for assisting in that environment. But it definitely still affects me, and it's something that I still have to get comfortable with. But just having all those people there really helped me out. And so I suppose I'm trying to do things that worry me and make me scared and stress me out. Not to punish myself, but to understand why it does that and to hopefully overcome it. I'm sorry if this sounds very tired and sleepy. It's because I just woke up from those late rehearsals and I'm about to go to work. So like I said, this one might be a little shorter. Or I might just ramble on and see how long that goes. But what was sweet was one of my castmates. She has anxiety about singing or anything really music-wise. And so when I posted about those free ukulele lessons and nobody showed up and how it was giving me anxiety before our rehearsal, they said, hey, do you want to try to teach me how to play ukulele, and then we can play that song together that I showed you? Because they showed me the song from High School Musical, the series, that fucking title. Never seen it. I need to. And so I taught them the basic, like, 4 chords, C, G, F, A minor, and we just sang that song, and I think they had, like, a similar mindset of, this worries me, but it's something that I want to overcome. And so we kind of faced that together, and it was a really sweet moment. And so, on the off chance that that person is watching this, thank you for that. Because there were a lot of people around, which was giving me anxiety earlier. And then they pointed it out and said, like, oh man, there's a lot of people. And I just, in instinct of trying to be supportive, said that they don't care. Which is something that I don't think I could have said to myself. You know what I mean? That's the weird thing about the human experience. We overthink things and think that we're the center of the universe. When in reality, we have to acknowledge that everyone has their own thing going on, and that nobody can really understand our own perspective. But maybe we can try to understand theirs with our own experiences and our own knowledge and insight. It kind of hit me a couple days ago when we were at rehearsal. Somebody was like, oh, I can't wait to do more shows with you guys here. And I was like, oh, I'm planning on graduating this semester. This is kind of it. And that threw me off because college has been like this amazing transition to being an adult from who I was when I was in high school. And it's helped me explore so many different things. Like, it's really, really just changed my life. And I'm kind of scared to leave that behind. I'm kind of worried that when I'm gone, all my friends will just stop talking to me. Like, that kind of happens during a show, is you tell yourself and everyone around you that you love this cast and you can't wait to hang out with them when the show is done. But in reality, you might get 2 out of the 20 people. And it's hard because you don't really understand why that happens. And I don't want that to happen with this group because literally everyone I feel some kind of a friendship with. And I think that we'll still have Halloween parties or a New Year's party or maybe even a Christmas party or just parties. But when I graduate, part of me is terrified that that social life will just be gone. And I'm studying to be a theater teacher, so I'll have to direct, and I want to try other things. Like I told you guys, I'm signing up for wrestling school. I have to stop saying I'm thinking about it. I have to say that I'm going to do it. And so I'll be performing. I'll be doing stuff creatively. I'm going to try to start my own podcast after I graduate. The one that I'm doing right now is with the State Press, the ASU News Source. So when I graduate, I have to leave that behind. But I also want to keep that highlighting community theater and creating context around it. Like, go see the new episode, Everybody, where I get to talk to 3 of the cast members. They do a great job of explaining the show, what it does, and how they've interacted with the show, with each other, and with their community through their new rehearsal methods. And it is an incredible listen. So go watch that, like, right now. And I want to keep doing that. I want to keep doing podcasts. I want to teach theater. I want to wrestle. I want to make more music. I want to do so many things. And part of me is terrified that in some capacity, this could be my last time performing in theater on stage. And I don't know how to cope with that yet. I don't know if it's something that I should cope with. I don't know if it's something that I should acknowledge. Because if I'm really honest, that thought scared me, but as soon as I thought that thought, I thought about all the community theaters that happen here and all the paid theaters that hire actors to be in their season and in various productions, and how I can just do that. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what will come of all of this. And I want to try to do so many new things, but I don't want to let any of the things that I'm doing go. And maybe I don't have to. You know, it's my life as long as I want to do theater, as long as I want to do podcasting, as long as I want to do wrestling, as long as I want to do music, as long as I want to do art. Who says that I can't? I think I really needed to do this episode today. I debated saying that I was going to go take a week off because of tech rehearsals and the show opening. Today is pretty much sold out, but you can go check out the podcast, State Press Center Stage, and see for yourself, or go to @EverybodyASU. Go see it. Thank you guys for listening, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.